Welcome to DDE, guys. Hi.
Oh yeah, welcome guys. I'm back from Seattle, where I saw nothing but homelessness and clouds all day. It's about as depressing as you could possibly imagine. But
did you see a homeless cloud? Was there one just all by itself, or were they all together in like a giant?
The cloud got kicked off the sky. He's like, "Yo, you can't live here no more. You're living here rent free. You gotta get the fuck out." The cloud just got kicked out of the sky.
Hey, your rent is cumulating.
That was a fucking terrible joke, guys. All right, I'm sorry about that. But yes, but I am back from my little hiatus from New Jersey.
Yes, the reason that we didn't talk about the fucking I didn't talk about the Atrioc shit when that shit went down, because that would have been a crazy topic in and of itself, is because that shit happened while Dennis was on vacation.
TLDR, what happened with that? So the guy was
we're gonna talk about that. That is not what I expected.
No, but I'm just wondering. Like, can you just
here's
tell
what
me
went down.
Like 10 words or less.
I also didn't want to talk about it. I also didn't want to talk about it because like a lot of women were really pissed. And they were like, "We don't need to hear men's opinions on this right now." And I'm like, low key, I kind of agree. But at the same time, I wanted to talk about it because I think it was one of those situations where like some men kind of need to say, "Okay, that was fucked up." You know what I mean?
Men got to speak up about it. Yeah.
Exactly. And
it's got to just be unanimity.
It's not what happened with the Atrioc situation. In case you've been living under a rock, it's kind of old news as far as the internet goes at this point. Atrioc was viewing deepfake pornography of
streamers.
Twitch streamers.
Yeah, I heard that. Okay.
Pokimane was on that shit. Cutie Cinderella. Maya,
I think I saw a couple of them. I don't know. Maybe it was off of some thumbnails, but I did see maybe Pokimanes, which I was
They have advertisements for them on some fucking porn websites.
Oh.
And he literally clicked one of those. And you know he didn't just do it by accident or leave it open because it was a paid service. You had to pay to watch it. So that's how you know he just got curious and paid to watch that shit.
And it killed the cat.
And everybody, I will say this, everybody has their fetishes. If y'all knew some of my fetishes, which none of it is illegal, by the way. I don't look at I don't look at weird, like creepy ass shit like that. But you'd be like, "Oh, what the fuck, David? You're a kinky fuck." Jesus. You'd be like, "Ew, what the fuck?" But fetishes are one thing. There's a difference between a fetish and a kink, but no matter even the difference of a fetish and a kink, making porn of real fucking people.
Well, deep faking.
Deep faking. Not even deep faking. Making real, like, even like comics and shit, like hentai comics or whatever, that feature real people who do not consent to that shit is fucking cringe. That's not cool. That's seriously not fucking cool.
Goes without saying.
Yeah, it should go without saying. Because, like, I feel like some people are thinking, like, he was just curious. It's fetish shit. It's normal for guys to think about what their female friends look like naked. And I'm like, yeah, it's normal to see a pretty woman and think sexual thoughts about her.
But that's where the line ends.
Exactly.
Yeah. You imagine it and it stays in your brain and that's where it belongs. You don't put that shit out on the public forum for everyone to know. Because, I mean, everyone who's ever had, like, any platonic female friends, like, as dudes, we've always imagined it. Like, just, we could just be chilling on the couch with our one hand in our fucking pants and just wondering, like, not even moving it. It's just kind of like absentmindedly, just hands in your balls and you're just kind of like, I wonder what, like, let's say Jenny, like, looks like naked. Or it's like, you even kind of daydream and even think like, would she be a good lay? I don't know. Like, it's just like little, like, random thoughts that are just like going through your head. And they just, that's where they stay, in your fucking thoughts.
And having that kind of attraction doesn't instantly devalue them as a person. It's if you treat them as such. Or if you're pretty much
if you cross the line.
If you cross the line, exactly. Like if you reveal...
It's always what it is.
If you reveal that deep down, you were only really... Even if you were lying to yourself, even if you were lying to yourself about it, you were trying to be friends with this person because you were hoping one day, maybe,
I could fuck.
Exactly, and it's a whole nother bucket of cringe that you're gonna have to dig through, you know. And it's not even like friendzone shit or whatever, where it's just like, I don't know, because I think friends can hook up platonic friends can hook up casually, and it's fine. But at the same time, I think.
But there's always that risk, though, man.
Yeah,
and I'm very much not like a risk-taking kind of person, like at heart at least. But it's like whenever I do hear like friends hook up, and if you've been hooking up for a long time, not saying it always happens, but there is a good chance, I'd say maybe more than 50%, that one of you is gonna develop more feelings than what you already feel for that friend.
If that's
you know what I'm saying. It does happen.
And I agree. If that's like instantaneous, then that's like, okay, you were just getting close to this person because you were eventually working up the nerve or whatever. But sometimes one or both parties catch feelings for one or the other after a while. My last girlfriend, who I dated for a long time, I was friends with her for 3 years before we got together.
And you guys were fucking even before that?
No, not at all. Okay. Not at all. I didn't even have feelings for her, like remotely, like literally at all. I just apparently she had a crush on me when we first met, but she not only had a boyfriend at the time. When I told her how young I was, she like kind of backed off because she was like 10 years older than me, and so she was like, whatever. And eventually that changed later on down the line. It wasn't until that last like couple of months, maybe like 4 months, even shorter threshold, that I woke up one day and I realized, oh fuck. Shit.
I got the feelings.
No, fuck. And like, yeah, so, and I'm obviously not going to go too far into that, but it can develop sometimes, and that's different. That's genuine. You have to be able to tell the difference between slowly building up feelings for somebody the more you get to know them, and just having that instantaneously and just trying to get with them or whatever, you know? So,
well, I mean, there's always the difference. There's always the difference between, like, real quick, like, penis feelings, and then actual, like, let's say feelings of love.
Yeah, and I feel like it's on a man to really know the difference when he reaches a certain age.
Well, that's the thing, yeah, like, because, well, like, when you're young, you don't know the difference. You just think, oh, yeah, like, not, let's say, strictly speaking, that, oh, you equate wanting to fuck, let's say, your friend equals love. But it's, like, it's very much, I guess, the older you get, much more clearly defined for us. Like, the older we are. Because we know what penis feelings are, and we know what love is. If at one point you've already experienced it or whatever. Like,
yeah.
You know, if I don't know, like, at least for me, like, it's really difficult, I think, for at least a guy to make new female friends without the low-key kind of ulterior motive of wanting to fuck them. If you're single, in my opinion, like, cause I already have, like, I only have, I think, at least now at this point, I have one female friend who has been basically grandfathered into my life because we've known each other since, like, high school. Mm-hmm. Like, it goes back that far. And for me, it's also, even in general, like, kind of hard to, like, make friends the older you get. I don't know if that makes sense. Because, like making new ones, if you already have, like, a circle that you already been chilling with and you've been cool with for, like, let's say, God knows how long, you know, obviously, like, there is a bit of that comfort that comes with it because it's like, you know, these guys are my friends, and if you're also, like, even closer than that, like, you know, then they're family. Right. Same with even, like, you know, if you're a girl and you have girlfriends. But more often than not, at least the way I kind of view it, and like, people say, like, oh, you could make friends at work, right? True, yeah, but that also, like, will it stand the test of you leaving that job and you guys still gonna be talking even after that?
It is always a risk. It's not worth it unless you really fucking love them. If you have a bit of a crush, then no. And that's another thing. You have to be able to tell the difference between having a crush on someone and being in love with them. Because I feel like there are some guys who, like, think they've been in love with a lot of women, and you'd be surprised to find you actually haven't been in love with that many. You've just had,
you just find them attractive,
or you just
which
find
is like
yeah.
That's like literally level 1 of, like, that whole, like, kind of scale. Like,
I can say I've only ever been, like, in love with, like, 2 women in my entire life, like, literally in my whole life, and I've had crushes on, like, dozens.
Yeah, penis feelings.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like I said, once you reach a certain age, you got to be able to tell that difference and measure the risk of what's, like, worth it and what's not. Like, are you willing to risk the friendship? Because each gender just blames the other when that shit happens. Say it's the guy who has feelings for the girl. Like, the girl will blame the guy, not for having feelings, but for, like, making it weird sometimes or whatever, if he has to feel certain ways. But then the guy, if the feelings are strong enough, he can't help it. He has to be true to himself. But then at the same time, guys, if they're immature enough, they'll say they're in the friend zone, and I'll talk to them and be like, okay, so you're in the friend zone. Did you tell her how you feel? No, I'm too scared. Then you're not in the fucking friend zone, bitch. Like, you're just too, seriously, you're just too scared to tell her how you feel.
If
that
anything,
girl did nothing. She did absolutely nothing. She's not to blame for your fucking feelings. That makes no sense.
At the same time, that dude unofficially put himself in there because you don't know nothing, you know?
Yeah.
And here's the thing.
Like, if you didn't try, you're not in the friend zone yet.
If you are also, like, past the, like, age you should be graduating college from, let's say, like, I'm going to put it even further than
22, maybe?
Like, no, but I'm going to say, like, 25. If you were 25 and you were still getting friend zoned by people, grow the fuck up. Grow the fuck up, really. And, like, at that point, you should just be learning, or you should have already learned to have been honest with yourself and others and just kind of just say what the fuck you're feeling. Because why in the fuck at this point in your life are you still dragging shit on?
Exactly.
For what reason?
Like, there was this fucking, this one girl who I was working with when I was doing the Nintendo program at the Target. Very beautiful woman. And, my last day there, I asked her for her Snapchat. Because she uses Snapchat, and she just kind of didn't really respond to it, because I think maybe she was nervous that I was, like, asking her out or whatever, which I wasn't, and I just took that as what it was. I'm like, no, that's totally cool or whatever. Yeah. I didn't let that drag on, or God forbid, get fucking angry at the woman for not giving me information about her that she is under zero obligation to give to me, or desire to do so, and I'm not very close with her, so I didn't take it personally. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, that's ridiculous. If you're a grown-ass man and that is still your attitude towards it, if you walk away from that situation and you're like, that girl lied to me, it's like, about what? She didn't lie to you about anything. You didn't ask. Did you ask her if she had a boyfriend and she said no, and then said yes, and even though she has one and then goes on a date, then she lied to you? That's not, you're making up a situation in your head before shit even goes down.
Yeah, exactly. Like, self-fulfilling prophecy, as it were. Literally.
Like, I know, like, Dennis, I know you've said before that there's a lot of women who don't know how to deal with rejection, and you're absolutely right. Like, some women will just straight up fucking call you gay if, like, they have the balls to ask you out, and then you tell them no. I've seen that happen, straight up.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of guys who don't know how to deal with that shit either.
Young guys, but men, they know. Guys?
Real men do. You know,
well, that's what I'm saying. Like, when you grow up enough, like, you're gonna know. Like, it's like, oh, okay, whatever, fuck it, and then you just walk on and move on with your life.
Exactly.
But young guys in particular, young emphasis on that. They obviously like think it does not compute. Because at the same time, I almost makes me feel as if you haven't been rejected enough, where it just hasn't clicked into you that this shit does happen.
They've rejected. Those are the same guys who rejected themselves before the women rejected them, and then they get in their own heads about it. Yeah,
and then that's why I'm like, you know, the older you get, like, you just kind of understand it. Like, as Bill even said once, it's like literally you'd have to spin the plates. Like, you just gotta fucking, like, basically grow into that numbness of getting rejected, because that's what we deal with. It's as like a gender of this species, that's what we deal with.
Yeah. I could not give a fuck about, like, that woman not wanting to share any info with me or whatever. Why would I be offended by that? Like, I came to that store once a week. We chatted up for a little while. We hardly fucking know each other.
Yeah.
It's like, that's ridiculous. And then when it's a friend, it's a little different, you know, like, because then, you know, sometimes the person who gets asked out could feel like that was their ulterior motive the whole time. And it sucks because sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes feelings develop as time goes on. Which is why I think the best relationships are from people who have been friends for, like, a long time. Because they know each other already. They've grown with each other to know that they've matured with them to be able to make that choice. Not somebody who you met as a friend or whatever, and then you become friends, and you're friends for, like, a couple weeks or whatever, and then you just ask them out or whatever. It's a rough balance. But point is, like, it's awkward when, like, you're doing shit like that with your friends. Or shit like that at all. I mean, it's one of the reasons that I think AI is just kind of fucked. Point is, it's not even really a debate, in my opinion. Like, don't make porn or watch porn of fucking real-ass people who do not consent to that shit, who have no desire to be... Think about it from a woman's perspective. There's so many OnlyFans girls out here making that fucking bank. Making that fucking bank. Regardless if they have
It's not a lot of them.
Regardless if they have cold thorns or not.
On the pussy.
Well, I mean, they should probably get that checked out. Like, they might have bigger problems if they have cold thorns on their pussies. Or men who have cold thorns on their penis, slam them in the car door. But like,
I really wish I could share that short on your fucking Twitter. Like, that short fucking killed me, man. Like, I'm Mike Tyson. I'm gonna fight Peter McNeely on Comcast cable. Bro, I saw that at 1 a.m. and I had to basically, I had to hold my fucking laugh. I put my hand over my mouth because I was laughing so fucking hard. It was 1 a.m. in the goddamn morning. So funny. Oh my god.
Could have bought a speech inhibitor from the yard deal.
I love you, Mike Tyson. But
yeah.
That shit killed me. Dude, he was even better. Oh, so guys, basically, I watched the short of Mike Tyson. He was basically making a commercial or a kind of
Mike Tyson from back in the day, like during prime Mike Tyson.
Yeah, like the one that will probably kill you just by looking at him.
And probably still could today, but he would
probably
overkill you in the 80s. He could fucking kill all of us.
Probably, yeah, because he's Mike Tyson. And he was basically making a commercial, and like he was advertising this fight that he was gonna do with Peter McNeely for any Tyson fans out there, and he was basically listing off all these like cable companies that like the pay-per-view was gonna be on, and he was just fucking up every attempt and every take that they had, and
in
like
such different ways.
I know,
mind you.
And you know the thing was, every time he fucked up the take, right, it paused for like 3 seconds, and then he'd be like,
"I'm pulling it up."
He's like,
"I'm just playing it into my mic, dude."
He's just like, "Hey, no, that ain't him, right?" Comcast? It's a cock cable.
Here, come on.
Hi, I'm Mike Tyson. Watch me beat Peter McNeely on Comcast Cablevision. Comcast Cable. Hi, I'm Mike Tyson. Watch me fight Peter McNeely on Cock Cable. Cox is out. Hi, I'm Mike Tyson. Watch me beat Peter McNeely on Salmon's Cablevision.
No, Salmon's Communication.
Hi, I'm Mike Tyson. Watch me beat Peter McNeely on Samsonite Cable.
No, Salmon.
What's even better is that like his friends were like, there's something just so much funnier when like you have a audience that is laughing
Laughter's
with
contagious.
you, cause like, bro, like during that commercial, right, they were all around him and they couldn't say shit because he had to say the lines, but then as soon as he fucked up, every single one of them just fucking busted out laughing.
It's very communal. You know,
it really is. Oh,
yeah.
Like, this shit fucking killed me.
Yeah.
Fucking Comcast cable.
I guess to wrap up the fucking Atrioc thing, which we talked about for 20 minutes.
Yeah, don't do that.
Just imagine it from a woman's perspective. You do all these things. You're a Twitch streamer. You do good things with your money, blah, blah, blah. You know, say what you will about Twitch streamers, which I don't blame you for. You know, a lot of them turn out to be fucking horrible people. But, point is that there's so many OnlyFans girls making that bank, like I mentioned. Porn, obviously one of the most prevalent things on the internet.
Yeah.
As it likely always will be, unless we get like some fucking Japanese ass laws over here, or not even Japanese laws, but like, you know, maybe Chinese. Anyway,
if it was Chinese, I'd say I would decree all OnlyFans women can't have children.
They probably would. Point is like over, and there's so
I'm
many
saying
women,
that from me. Like they probably should.
There's just so many women who allow themselves to be sexualized, or who. And I mean, by allow themselves to be sexualized, I mean they literally are sex workers.
Yeah.
Which, if you're telling me not to sexualize sex workers, you might just be a fucking dumbass.
Or if you're gonna tell me not to objectify sex workers, it's kind of like, but that's the whole point.
Yeah.
Like,
don't tell me it isn't. Like, e-girls and simps are two sides of the same coin. One cannot exist without the other. Easily. And, so, when women who don't do that want nothing to do with that shit, because men are just so used to seeing the women online get naked and jack off to them or whatever, or fulfill their fantasies, that they start doing that with women who have no desire to do that shit, that's gotta suck. Like, imagine if you, like, it's a similar feeling. It's not the same thing. You and I do double the experience. I made this podcast to sort of, like, drift away from the Smash community a little bit.
Yeah.
And then all everybody ever asked me to, when do you talk about this tournament? When are you going to doing commentary again? What did you think about this commentary? And then it's just Smash questions. It's not the same thing, because I'm a straight white dude. It's not the same thing from, like, you know, fucking societal level. But it's like you try so hard to do this one thing, but then for no reason, you're just over-sexualized. Even though you did nothing. Like, streamers will, like, jack off to, like, women while they get up and walk to the bathroom and say, like, oh, it's sexual content. She was asking for it. See the way she bent down after dropping her mouse on the ground and sewed her ass? It's like, she was bending over to pick it up, you fucking tard sandwich. She wasn't making sexual content for that. You just got aroused and you're blaming her for it for some reason. It's like those fucking laws that they have in, like, fucking whatever that country is, where they're just like, in the Middle Eastern countries, where they're like, woo, stop running in that way. It's making your ass jiggle in a sexual fashion. Because they'll say it's the woman's fault. Stop staring at her fucking ass if it's bothering you, asshole!
No, they'll also say, like, stop it or we're gonna stone you.
Pretty much.
Like, we're gonna make you never shake that ass again, unintentionally or not.
Whatever.
The other thing is that if there are, like, let's say, streamers who are also hot tub streamers, and if you do catch those deepfakes,
hot tub streamers,
you can't say shit. Just say, if you are a hot tub streamer and you find those deepfakes and you find out people are jerking off on them, that's on you.
What do you mean by that? Like deepfakes of them?
Yeah, because it's like, one, you already kind of putting yourself out there. Not like, I'm not saying like, oh yeah, you shouldn't wear those clothes if you don't want to be raped. I'm saying it's like, if you don't want to be objectified, right?
Yeah.
Then why would you ever want to go on a hot tub stream and actually be in your fucking bathing suit?
I mean, I agree that people are going to sexualize you, but that is still porn of them that was made without their consent.
Fair, but at the same time, it's just like, once it's out there, it's out there.
I mean, that's a whole different discussion, and I'm glad you brought that point up. Like, I remember years ago, I was in this class, right? It was I had to take an IT class back at Bergen, and the professor was going off about how, like, we were talking about cybersecurity and how things spread and whatnot, and really what's preventable and what isn't. And one of the things that he said wasn't preventable is that if you take nude photos of yourself, if you're a celebrity, the internet will find it.
Yeah.
They just will. And obviously, some asshole out there shouldn't take someone else's nude photos that were meant for privacy or that they were meant to be sent to someone else that they're dating or whatever. It is immoral, yes, for them to take that photo and put it on the internet. But at the same time,
you are a celebrity.
Not even just that you're a celebrity, that too, but like, once it's out there, it is out there. And I remember this girl was getting really heated at him. She didn't say anything to him, but it was on her face. Like, she was doing deep breathing and like rolling her eyes and shit. And she was like a very liberal, a very, very, very liberal looking woman as well. Because he was basically
pink hair or something.
My professor literally said, Jennifer Lawrence, you're kind of an idiot for that. He literally called Jennifer Lawrence an idiot. Like,
and he's true, and he's right.
He was a very comedic guy. And in my mind, I was just like, yeah. Pretty much at the same, because it's like when
I unapologetically agree with the dude.
Do you remember years ago when Beyonce was performing at the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
And that god awful photo of her.
She tried to get it removed off the internet, and it was not going to happen.
Removed off the internet because she thought she was powerful enough to do that, and she got clowned on for it. Because it's like, Beyonce, you got all this money. The internet is bigger than you. Yeah. It's way bigger. It's bigger than all of us. You can't do that.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen. And while, yes, when a photo is taken of you, a private photo that you took of yourself or someone else took of you that you're dating, it's meant for you. Yeah, a guy or whoever, probably a man. I'm not gonna say women probably.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Unless it's like some asshole woman, like revenge porn. Like, this is what you get for fucking my man, like some wild scenario like that. A man will probably take it and put it on the internet. Yeah, no, that's immoral. He shouldn't do that. I'm not sitting here and saying he should do that or that you shouldn't be upset about it. I'm just saying there's no such thing as privacy anymore.
If you're especially on that level. If you're on that level of, like, let's say even being a celebrity.
It is why I will never sext a woman, ever. She asks for a picture of my dick, I don't do it. I mean that. Okay. I will never do that. Because even if it's just in a private text chain, you send it to someone else, it's on their device. Someone else could take their device and upload it. They could fucking hack into her phone or whatever or take it. Once you do that, it's out there. It's out there. It's over. There's nothing you could do about that. It's just it's just the way of the world now. It's fucked, but it's the way of the world.
And I guess you could even agree that, like, you know, OnlyFans girls putting all their shit out there, right? It's just like, well, this is my job. So, like, I can't, obviously, like, you know, this is what I do, right? I put my shit out there, I objectify myself, and I get money. But on the other side of it is that obviously these girls are not going to be doing this shit forever, obviously. By like, let's say a certain age, they're going to realize like, okay, like I don't got the body to attract like that many amount of men like I did, let's say when I was like 25 anymore. So obviously after that, they got to like change up their, I guess whatever.
With
like,
the selection of very few porn stars who have graduated to MILF status, who started young, I agree. Yeah,
few and far between. Man.
Most of them reach a certain point and then they either
Dude, it's
leave
the same. But this is what I also don't understand with, right?
Yeah.
Like okay, not to like, oh, like in a meathead guy way, right? But it's just kind of like, we all know we're gonna get old. Like I don't get.
You haven't seen Puss in Boots yet. Some people don't.
I have to watch that movie.
We will see Pussy in Boots.
Besides the point, literally, like, at least for all of us, right? We all know at a certain point, right? We're all gonna get old and we're all gonna just die. Like, it's just the way it is, right? It's life. And obviously, but I'm not saying it in like a, oh yeah, like in a cut my fucking wrist like sort of way, like, oh, we're all gonna die eventually. I'm just saying that like we should live our lives to the fullest up till that point is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And especially if you know, let's say a good chunk of your young life as a girl was that you were putting up all this shit on the internet, right? And now, like, you know, like, let's say you don't want to do this anymore, and like obviously you want to do something else with your life, and you know you want to like make a family. God knows what you're gonna want.
A lot of porn stars did. I'm pretty sure that's what Daphne Rosen did. That's what Christy Marks did. Fell off the face of the earth, and then they just, because they want to have normal lives, they want to have a family, they want to have kids.
But that shit is up there, forever, and that is your cross to bear. And at the same time, unintentionally, well, also I guess just by association, it's your kids' cross to bear too, because now
they're gonna get bullied to shit.
They're gonna get bullied to shit, and God knows if if it ever gets to a point where like the kid's gonna have to like want to off himself because of it, and like that's why like I was even like kind of half joking and half not when I said that OnlyFans girls should not have children. They should not. Like, it's just like, and I mean that like in a semi sort of like dictator sort of way, because it's like, and in a joking manner, because
Shit's
of the fact
change.
No, but it's like, bro,
shit's
bullying is never gonna change.
No, shit's gonna change because eventually the people who bully people for that are gonna get bullied for bullying people for that. No, seriously, it's gonna get sex positivity. It's gonna get to, yes, it is. Sex positivity in the Western world is gonna get to such a level to the point.
It won't. To be fair, I don't want it to.
It depends. Boys are gonna get bullied for that shit hard, I feel. Women, maybe. Actually, no, that's not true.
What, you don't think girls are gonna get fucking?
Well, they're not gonna get their ass beat, but like they'll.
No, they're not gonna do it. It's never like, dude, that is not the kind of bullying I'm saying. It's gonna be incessant fucking name calling, picking on them. It's not gonna be that they're gonna beat the shit out of the kid. They're gonna literally destroy them verbally. Your mom's a fucking whore.
The only
is what it's gonna be.
Right? That's possibly worse is like jacking off to like vintage porn that you find out later was your mom.
I would rather get beaten the shit out of than basically have to deal with like the entire school knowing that my mom took 8 guys on a train. I would rather get my fucking shit kicked in than fucking have to deal with that for 4 years of my life. Bro, I know you're laughing.
I'm fucking speechless. Because I don't know what to say to that. I don't agree or disagree. I literally don't know what to fucking say. Because like you're probably right. I'm usually not this stumped. I really don't know what to say to that. Because like fuck.
OnlyFans girls should not have children. Is what I'm saying. You should not have children.
You can't take away their right to have kids though.
I can. No, when the kid's fate is already preordained to be bullied the shit out of,
dude,
and not to mention even dealing with like the secondhand embarrassment. It's like, okay, if your mom really did turn her life around and everything, okay, then you should at least hear her out, right? But it's like, here's the thing that will piss me the fuck off if I was an OnlyFans child, you know. There is one thing that'll piss me the fuck off.
If there was footage of you being conceived, like
no. Oh, I mean, yeah, maybe that too. But it's like another thing is that if I found out that, right?
Yeah.
You were living with grandma and grandpa. You were well off. You had no want for anything. You had a room. You had board. You had just a place to live, but you still did this. Because it's like, I'd understand if you had to do it for money's sake. If I found out, let's say, like, you know, hypothetically, my mom had to do OnlyFans because, like, okay, like, shit was just so fucking rough. She was in a terrible point in her life. She had almost no money to her name. And the only thing had was her body. And that was the main thing that she did to survive. And if that was the case, then okay, I would sort of kind of understand it.
Mm-hmm.
But if I was a kid and if I found out my mom was still doing OnlyFans, I would want to kill myself.
Oh, if my mother was like an active porn star.
Yeah, I'd want to kill myself.
That's a whole different story. But truthfully, Dennis, I'm
just saying, there's also levels to all of that.
But I kind of disagree because at a certain point, she should be allowed to put it in the past. If that's what she wants. You know what I mean?
Who's going to be dealing with it, though? That's going to be on the kid. Not her.
Yeah, but Dennis,
she put the shit to bed, right? But the kid is not going to be able to, like, have that sort of, like, ability to process all of that. Because when the kids eventually find out in middle school, and everyone knows how fucking vicious middle schoolers are, once the kids find out that, oh yeah, Tom's like fucking mom was an OnlyFans girl from like 10 years ago. She was like top 2%. I mean, all this shit's still up.
The dudes that are in there are probably going to ask her for like the links and shit.
Yeah. Or even just want to be friends with Tom because they want to see Tom's mom.
Yeah, they probably just want to go over to his house or whatever, you know, blah, 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 for a sleepover. Any semblance of perverted shit. I agree and disagree because she should be allowed to put that in the past. And I think as time goes on, I think society, you know, with how, you know, Twitter and
I don't want it to be though.
I know that, but it's gonna get to a point where like you know, the fucking what am I trying to say here? Why can't I think of the word? The sexual like openness, if you would. I can't think of the word right now for some fucking reason. Like validation. That's not the right word either. It's gonna get to a point where like. It's going to get to a point where I feel like even school rules are going to establish for that. If it's anything like that ever comes down. Because the thing is, you were mentioning like, oh, there's so much shame in it or whatever. But like, a lot of women who do that kind of stuff see no shame in it at all. And they even don't see shame in it.
This is not about them, though. This is about their fucking kids.
I know that.
Who have nothing to do with this.
I know that, but they're not going to see shame in that later in their lives. I feel like society is not going to see that as shameful years down the line. Kids is a different story. I understand what you're talking about, and they're going to get bullied for it. But kids will get bullied for all sorts of shit. I don't feel like that's going to become like a new issue, if that makes any sense.
No, that's like, what I'm saying. Bullying is always going to be bullying.
Kids have been bullied for that before. There have been porn stars who've had kids who already went to school and went through the ringer for that shit, among all sorts of other reasons.
Well,
probably accidentally saw some of that shit at some point and wanted to off themselves regardless because they fucking saw their mom getting plowed.
By 10 dudes.
By 10 dudes.
You know, imagine if that's like the level to a 2. It's like, Mom, at the very least, it's like, I found out about your OnlyFans, and at the very least, I am thankful that you never had anything more than one guy per scene.
You remember when we asked Koopa that question and he was talking about how, like, yeah, I just have a... No, if I was you! Never mind, it was you! I thought it was Kyle who said, like, listen, I'd sit my mom down, I'd talk about how we're gonna deal with this going forward. Well, like, we'll just
I have to Dude, you're the one. I forgot. Doesn't do anything.
You're the one who said you would do that. Kyle was the one who straight up said he would off himself.
What?
If you find out later on your mom was like a porn star.
Yeah, just to at least get the context of it.
You watched vintage porn of your mom and you didn't realize it was her until like after
you get the context. Because it's like, again, I will have like forgiveness for certain things. Like, if you did it because you were at a rough point in your life, then okay, fuck it. Like, what can I fucking say?
It's not going to be considered shameful anymore, though. It's not going to be considered a sin, and you, my friend, are going to be the weird one for having a problem with it.
I don't give a fuck. Like, I give a fuck.
I know you
don't. I could give a fuck.
I know you don't. I'm just saying, that might be the place that we're going. Which I don't have a problem with that, per se. I'm just saying, like, you know...
It should not be celebrated either, though. It should, like I always say... Sex workers should just have a level of acceptance, but never celebrated. There's nothing to celebrate about, in my opinion. Your work is still, in my opinion, considered to be not the dirtiest, because there's way dirtier illegal things to do than like
shit comes out during COVID. Those are essential workers.
Hold on, let me finish. Between prostitution, drug dealing, and let's say even just straight up murdering someone, right? Prostitution is the lowest of like any sort of illegal activity, in my opinion. It's like sex for money, right? Shit that we've been doing for fucking years now at this point. And at the same time, it's like, it is harmless, in my opinion.
I think prostitution
compared to drugs and straight up murdering people. But At the same time, this weird, like, crazy, like, you know, just celebration and positivity of this shit makes no sense to me, because it's like, there is nothing inherently that you should celebrate other than the fact that, okay, you accept the body acceptance and all of that, and if you like being sexually positive, sure, fine, yeah, okay, whatever. But it's like, your work is nothing to be celebrated, because for one, firemen do not get the fucking same amount of celebration or even like, let's say, credit where credit's due, and they save people's lives. Why in the fuck would something like sex workers be having like anywhere near that sort of level of, like, let's say, celebration or even just positivity? These people are saving lives. What the fuck are you doing? Saving this guy from killing himself because you laid him? Give me a fucking break.
I mean, if it makes you feel any better, I mean, you know how some women can be behind closed doors. This was like a viral tweet that came out recently of a bunch of like very popular e-girls in a group chat just absolutely bullying, roasting the absolute shit out of like some other one, saying heinous shit. And those are always the same people who have like mental health awareness in their bio. Good vibes only. Like,
yeah, I don't believe any of that shit.
You know, the old
Twitter's
saying,
not a real place in my opinion either.
Well,
I don't believe it.
It's not. You know, like, you know, the whole thing of like, you know, the whole stereotype of like, which I kind of believe is that women understand
Fuck Twitter.
Women understand women and they fucking hate each other.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of that, like, you know, positivity stuff can honestly be kind of fake. I'm not saying
Of course it's fake.
I'm not saying it all is, but I'm just saying a lot of it is like manufactured. And yeah. So yeah, no, I agree as far as like even like celebration goes. Like I wholeheartedly agree with
Celebrate
that.
for what?
I'm fucking
Oh, you
agreeing
jerked
with
the dude off. Good on you.
I mean,
no one can do it as much as you.
Listen to me right now. I will say the one thing that should be celebrated is they have a job where they can get laid all the time, which is
fine.
Like,
you have a job.
I will say that.
It does not make you special at all. The whole world should be having jobs at this point. Obviously, you know, because of certain circumstances, obviously we can't right now. But it's like, look, you have a job, so what? Huh? The fucking dude out there who takes out my garbage has a job too. His shit's way more important than yours.
Listen, man, Twitter's not a real place. All
And
right?
I know everyone's gonna think like, oh yeah, you're hating on women right now. I swear, I would. If I had like just a few screws loose, I would go on Twitter and say this shit. And I would get canceled for it. But Twitter is such a fucking cesspool of shit. Fuck it.
You
Fuck
can
Twitter.
say things on a podcast that you can't say on Twitter. And I guess we'll use this to segue.
Twitter.
What happened? Because I agree, Twitter's not a real place. I mean, you ever see that old meme of saying, like, you can say, I like pancakes, and someone will say, oh, so you don't like waffles? I'm literally shaking right now, and shit like that happens. Oh, by the way, I think prostitution should be legal. I've actually been thinking about that.
Yeah, but it should not be celebrated, is all I'm saying.
No, fuck. No. It absolutely should not be celebrated.
You should not be going to, like, career day and saying, oh, yeah, so what I do is that I blow 10 dudes a
Oh, no,
week.
I was also going to say it shouldn't be celebrated for guys. Like, if
No,
anything,
absolutely
we live in
not.
a world where prostitution is legal, and you don't want to be the dude in the guy's friend pool. You don't want to be the dude that had to pay for sex.
Yeah.
You don't want to be that guy. Okay?
Absolutely. It goes both ways.
Yeah. I'm just saying that's just truth what's going to go down. I wouldn't make fun of people for it, but, like, I'm just saying that people...
I'm not going to clap my hands for it either.
Yeah, I'm not going to be...
Just
Wow.
be like, okay. Oh, wow, you have a job. You pay your bills like everyone else in the fucking world. What makes you so fucking special?
I was talking about the guy, like, fucking a prostitute, but whatever.
The same boat. I'm just
I
saying.
agree.
both.
We have OnlyFans where people pay out the ass for these women on virtual screens, so why the hell can't... If they want to get paid to get fucked, why can't we do that in real life? What's the difference? Like, what's the big fucking deal? I seriously don't get it at this point. I mean, I guess the big deal is that STDs would spread rampantly because there's no way to enforce these women would do it
So
safely,
then that would
or
also
the
mean that
guys
you
would
need
do
to
it safely.
give more awareness for STDs then.
Well, maybe that would create more jobs. Maybe there would be, like, agencies and shit now who, like,
What
run
doesn't
prostitution.
gonorrhea already scare the fuck out of people? Does it not scare people enough that they actually practice this shit regardless? Like being, like, you know, practicing safe sex?
I feel like if
Like,
prostitution was legal, it
STDs
wouldn't even...
are fucking terrifying.
I feel like people...
Pissing and hurting? That shit
No,
would
listen,
make
for
me
that
wanna kill
reason,
myself.
for that very fucking reason, I feel like people wouldn't have sex with, like, the stereotypical, like, prostitutes, right? They would do it with the women who aren't making enough money at their day jobs, who would make an OnlyFans, but are
Sounds
sometimes
like a pity fuck at that point.
Listen, who are hornballs enough to go far enough to be prostitutes. Because I don't believe most women don't do prostitution if they want to do sex work because it's illegal. That's not true.
No, obviously not.
I mean, but there probably are some that do. Because there's a lot of women who have OnlyFans now who are just fucking nurses. your grade school teacher that teaches all the 4th graders down the fucking
But,
street.
but the teacher can't show her face though either. Cause like
That would be a conflict of interest, of course.
There's plenty of teachers that got found out that they had like OnlyFans and shit, and then they had to they got fired or like they got the whole teaching license suspended because like obviously as you said, conflict of interest. And obviously if I was a child or if I was a parent and I found out about that, it's like I don't know how I would feel. It's kind of like, okay, if we found out that she did it in the past, it's like, okay, whatever, that's in the past now, whatever. Like she's a teacher now, she was an OnlyFans girl, she's a teacher now. But if we find out that she was an OnlyFans, like she has an OnlyFans and she is teaching still, it's like, I don't know how I would feel about that. Like, it's also like, I could say all the shit that I want about it, but it's like, you know, in that whole scenario, it would be up to the Board of Ed and what they decide to do with her. Than like whatever the fuck protest that I have about it.
Yeah.
Like, maybe it's just because, like, I still am a bit... I guess definitely everyone could kind of agree that I am definitely a bit old-fashioned in that sense. Because it's like, I know a lot of people who were jumping on... Like, ever since... You know, I always thought, like, ever since OnlyFans came out, right? Like, that whole body positivity, sexual positivity movement would, like, fucking ramp up. The spot stayed the same. It's been about the same fucking level than it was like since like a couple years ago.
If that leaked group chat said anything, it's that women are body shaming just as much, if not more, than men.
It's definitely more because, you know, at least for I heard like a study where at least like women, they are very like, you know how like typically human beings are very competitive with each other. With like, it could be like anything, right? It could be sports, it could be gaming, it could literally be like fucking anything. But like, at least when it comes to like women, the competitiveness turns into pettiness, where it's like, oh, look how skinny that bitch is. Like, oh, she thinks she looks good in that skirt. Like, it literally is like not even like, you know, not that I would look better in it, but it's just like, oh, look at this bitch. Like, it just goes straight to nasty, like immediately somehow. And if anyone's ever heard like a group of girls talk and how like they would gossip about another girl, it's pretty vicious, honestly. And
women are fucking terrible to each other.
And not to mention, at least, you know, for dudes, the way we rip onto each other is a bit different because it's like we would kind of just be like, you know, we would be busting balls. There's a difference between busting balls and then into ripping into another person.
Well, think about what Billy Bitch
There's a big difference.
Think about what Billy Bitch Tit said about like, I honestly think that the shit that bit he did about the women's soccer league, not the women's soccer league, about that bit. No, seriously,
WNBA.
I'm not even kidding. I honest to God think that people do more than just laugh at that. I honest to God think that was profound.
Yeah,
it was legitimately, unironically profound, and the way he phrased it too, it was all so good because he's right. I feel like a lot of people watch it, but I feel like so many women nowadays would just rather watch women fucking destroy each other on these god-awful dog shit-ass reality shows that rot your fucking brain from the inside out than to watch them work together as a team. Ever since that woman like went on and was talking about like why women athletes don't make as much as men, and it's not because we hate women, it's because people don't go to those things. I literally cannot name a single WNBA player. It's completely
except
true.
Griner.
And most,
but like that was only because she was prisoned like in Russia.
And a lot of women can't either.
You want to know another thing that he said about body positivity that I also laughed at, but I also kind of was like, wow, that actually makes a lot of fucking sense. Right. The reason why a lot of these women are all about this body positivity shit is that they want them to stay fat. Because the more they stay fat, the more that they view them as less of a threat.
Yeah.
Because if she gets skinny, then okay, now she's actually like good looking. She could get some guys like, and they don't want that. And I always found this so fucked. But it's like, I always saw a lot of times in high school and even sometimes in uni, there was so many times where I would see, not like, I wouldn't call her like the fattest bitch in the school, but it's like, she would be a very fat chick who would be friends with a really pretty girl. And I'm just kind of like, now that I'm thinking about Bill's like whole thing, right? I'm just kind of like, is that why? In a twisted way. Are they friends with this fat girl? Because it's just like, it's like a power thing because they know that I will be the one in the end getting the guy rather than her. And it's just kind of like this weird like power dynamic between it. Like they don't ever say it explicitly, but it's like that's how at least I viewed it. Because when you're like for dudes, right? We hang out with a fat guy. We never like kind of go into it like maliciously, like and ever think that, oh yeah, like, you know, I'm friends with this dude like because I know for a fact that whatever girl he pulls, like I'm probably gonna get her. Like nothing like that. That never even crosses our mind, is what I'm saying.
No.
Ever. And I know plenty of dudes who got like fat friends and they just been friends for years. And funny enough, the fat guy would even get a girl anyways. So it's just like, what the fuck?
The extent
at least
of
in
us,
that regard.
The extent of us is that we think about what they look like naked at some point when we're horny, and then we leave it there because we don't fucking covet our neighbor's wife. It's that simple.
Yeah.
You know, we
I mean,
don't
well,
like,
like,
put nobody else down. Went down to my buddy's place. Him and his girlfriend are still together, and God bless. I'm so happy to see him happy after the fucking shit he went through. It's all good. You know, supportive.
Yeah. But then but I don't know, but like traditionally, or at least like stereotypically from what like Bill kind of said, it's like that woman's like, yeah, you fuck.
And
like, I'm glad she left.
I can't help but feel like some of that misconstruing has like some of what to do with like the way that Twitter is. I swear to God, like, you know.
Well, social media in general.
No, social media in general, but Twitter is really the prevalent one when it comes to discussing serious issues now. And we as a society chose the platform with a fucking character limit
as the forum to discuss this shit.
I wholeheartedly believe that as somebody who like still commentates Smash Brothers, that the Smash community would be an astronomically better place if we did not fucking use Twitter. If we didn't use Twitter as our fucking base of operations. I've been saying that. Nothing's going to change. It's the same way I feel about Twitch. I wish we streamed on YouTube instead. I really hope YouTube actually makes some serious moves. I mean, apparently YouTube just implemented something like co-creator streaming. There's an easy, seamless way to like co-stream with another streamer now, which is cool. I hope they fucking kill Twitch in a few years. I really do. But, yeah.
I hope they kill Netflix too with the stupid shit that they tried.
Yeah. Bro, they literally...
Oh, you can't use your passwords with other people.
They literally said...
LOL, JK, we were kidding.
They literally said they posted that in error. That was their excuse.
Netflix
That was what they fucking
stupid.
said. Netflix is fucking stupid. We love them, but they're stupid.
I love your shows, but goddamn, are you fucking stupid?
Ugh. It's
like that one friend who you know is a real dumb fuck. But for some reason, like, you still talk with him because... he always has some cool shit to show you, but it's like the way he talks. It's just like, bro, you have to shut the fuck up.
Netflix is basically like me when it comes to Tinder. When I use Tinder, which is very, 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 very rare, I don't swipe right on the girls I like and swipe left on the ones I don't. I swipe right. I swipe right, I swipe right, I swipe right, I swipe right on everybody until I run out of likes, because I use Tinder free. I will never in my fucking life pay for Tinder. Netflix does the same thing when it comes to shows. They just greenlight everything.
It's like, what was it? Throwing shit at the wall until something sticks?
Even if it's the most, like, you know, unfleshed out idea, like, yeah, my show's about a guy, and he, like, has, like, a golden retriever as a pet. But then the golden retriever turns into a chain chomp from Mario at some point, because I think chain chomps are cool. Also,
no, you know,
set in the future and the past at the same time. Greenlit. Done.
You know what the average plot would actually sound like, though? It's like, my story's about a guy. He has a job. He has a dog. He has a car. And then he loses those things. It's like, literally, it could be the most mundane shit ever. It would just get greenlit.
If your show gets rejected by Netflix,
you're probably a shit writer.
Just quit writing. Just quit.
No, that's so unfair to say.
Fucking quit. Yeah, you are a shit writer, apparently. But the thing is, you could be a shit writer and get greenlit on Netflix anyway. Like, I don't even remember what that fucking god-awful original movie. Because if you think Netflix's original shows are bad, their movies are way worse.
On average.
Way worse. Sam Worthington did this, oh my god, this fucking god-awful one where he turns into like a fucking fish.
Wait, what?
No, seriously, it's a movie. He turns into a fish, and like government turns him into a fish, and then we turn out government becomes fish bad. Is bad, and it's something about like, you know, saving the world or whatever from like climate change, which doesn't even make sense because like he winds up going to another planet anyway, and then he can fly. Like the whole movie, it makes no sense. But Netflix greenlit that shit. They greenlit everything, picked from the barrel, and I think they're slowly starting to realize it's not a sustainable business model. They have to actually
What took them so long?
What took them so long was they were a monopoly on the streaming services because they were the first one. Now there's Hulu and HBO Max and Amazon fucking Prime and Disney Plus. All that shit that they have to compete with. We're not in the golden age of television anymore.
No.
Television fucking reset. And now we're basically paying cable again for all these different channels with all these different streaming services, all these different shows. Except now they're like $30 a month a pop instead of having $30 a month for like Optimum or whatever because everything's on demand now. Television literally fucking reset. We are not in the second golden age of television anymore like all the teachers and professors at Montclair preached to me for 4 fucking years.
This is why
We're
I
not
also
anymore.
even say, like, Netflix, like, is an example of how I always said that these boards, like, because it's a publicly traded company, and that board of investors has to at least have, like, on average, like, any board of investors has to at least have 4 people that know what the fuck they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Or at the very least, more than half. So if there's, like, let's say 10 dudes on the board of investors, at least 5 of them should know what the fuck they're talking about. But again, on average, the people who have the amount of capital to even be on that board are not going to be people who know what the fuck they're talking about when it comes to media. They are just straight up people who have money. It is their language.
Numbers.
And
numbers, people. For every 10 Velmas they greenlight, they get a Squid Game. That's Netflix's fucking business model. And they were able to get away with that because they had no competition. Now they do. And they got to stop greenlighting everything. It's not a good business model anymore. You have to actually make sure the shows are quality. That's why people are leaving.
Cuties is always going to stand as like that fucking prime example of like, oh yeah, Netflix, yeah, you love greenlighting shit again?
Also Big Mouth, which is
and
still running.
You just point to those two. Just point to them. It's like, you remember that? You remember what the fuck you did? As if they're like a child that's like in timeout. You know what the fuck you did 2 years ago? Huh? You greenlit this shit. Everyone knows you for this now.
The people who are going to get kicked off of Netflix because they were password sharing, and now the person who had the original account needs to log in at least once a month, otherwise they'll be blocked off the platform, are not going to start paying a subscription to keep using Netflix. They're just going to move on to a different streaming service.
Or just go yo-ho.
Or yo-ho, the pirate bay for me. I don't know what they're thinking.
So ass backwards.
It really is. They're just fucking greedy, and they think they can just utilize this as a quick way to make money for not providing any additional service or content. And
why hasn't the Netflix building been like
shit
burned down
blowing up in their fucking face? They're building a new one in New Jersey. They're building a hole at a former military.
No.
Hey, no, chill. I'll work there. I'll work for Netflix. I'll fix that company from the fucking inside out. I'll start up at the fucking janitor's room. Work my way to
board of investors.
Hey, my great uncle was the vice president of marketing at was it Paramount Pictures? I don't remember.
One of the big movie like something Viacom, like something like that.
Hang on a second. I'm trying to remember. It was and I guess we could end with this story. Yeah, Michael Sciuso. He was the vice president of I believe marketing at, I don't remember if it was Columbia or if it was Paramount. I don't remember if they're the same.
Like Columbia
company.
TriStar?
No, like Pictures.
Yeah, but aren't they also TriStars now?
I don't know.
You remember the horse? Like the fucking Pegasus or whatever that like thing comes out along with the woman with the torch.
Yes.
Like that was like their logo.
I think. Hold on a second.
Because I think they merged like a while ago. It's like Columbia TriStar now.
Okay, I can't seem to find his fucking obituary. But when he was alive, he was the vice president of marketing at that company. He worked his way up from the mailroom. Like he did it the old-fashioned way. He was working through the mailroom while going to night school doing that shit. And eventually just wound up being in that prominent position at that company. Did it the old-fashioned way. I don't know how often that happens anymore, but
not often.
Yeah, no.
Almost never at this point.
You know Bill Murray once called him an asshole? Yeah, some like...
Probably were if Bill Murray had to fucking tell you you're an asshole.
No, yeah, because like Bill Murray, the thing is he knew exactly how important my great-uncle was. That's why he said it.
I mean, but also, you don't become like a senior VP by being nice.
Well, no, he was talking with some other people at the table that my great uncle was sitting at, and then he turns to him because he's like, "Oh, who's this asshole?" Straight up. But I respect the balls on Bill Murray for specifically saying that to somebody who he knew he shouldn't say it to.
But it's also Bill Murray. He don't give a fuck.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
like I kind of respect that, to be completely honest. And he went along with the joke. He was fine with it, but yeah.
You gotta have a good sense. I mean, you're fucking. He went from the mailroom all the way up. Like, you don't forget your roots.
Yeah. I don't know why I can't find, because like they wrote an obituary for him. I don't know why I can find it now. Maybe I'll find it next week and share with you guys.
Call him an asshole in the obituary.
No. That would have been
on this day, this asshole died.
that would have been if Mr. Murray wrote it.
Damn, I want that to be written for my obituary. On this day,
I got you.
This dickhead fucking finally kicked the bucket at long last.
At long last.
Took fucking 20 more years past 100 for this fucker to die.
Fucking double D experience, like episode fucking like 7,000. Just finally,
I don't even have the strength to form words anymore. I'm just kind of like, I just moan and groan for like an hour.
I think it's stupid that we have holograms of OnlyFans girls now.
And now they're making fucking robot AIs for people to fuck that look like these OnlyFans girls. OnlyFans girls are gonna go obsolete, I tell you.
That was basically the equivalent of what they did in the 50s. You remember? You've seen LA Confidential. You remember that movie?
It was that movie, and then also Blade Runner.
Yeah,
that one too.
Yeah, and LA Confidential is not robots. It's set in the 50s, but what they did is that they literally gave like prostitutes plastic surgery to look like popular film actresses. Basically, the 1950s equivalent of deepfake.
If they ever commodified, like sex workers, that's probably the route they're gonna go. Like, just you want the big bucks? Look like fucking Vanessa Hudgens, or look like Jennifer Lawrence, whatever.
Yes.
Look like Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
You want the big bucks? You gotta do that. Sorry.
Just don't make porn of real people. Whatever. That's the message that we have here. We're done.
And OnlyFans girls don't get kids.
I do not agree with that statement. Anyway.
Yes, you said you agreed and disagreed. So you were like on the fence.
I said I was speechless.
You are on the fence, my friend.
Oh, yeah.
You have to swing either way.
No, I'll just bounce from each individual pole on my fucking face. Just pogo stick that white picket fence on my ass. All the way down the line so I don't have to pick.
There is something really just inherently funny of the word pogo stick. Like, who the fuck made that up? What the fuck is a pogo anyways?
I want to take a ride on your pogo stick.
Here's our plugs, guys.
Yeah.
Here's our
Twitter.
No OnlyFans, unfortunately, but you
not
can look at some sensual memes.
You know, Markiplier's OnlyFans crashed the website. He became like the top fucking
Was it like as a joke?
No, he made like a deal like where if he like reached a certain milestone or whatever, or like his subscribers did a certain thing, he'd make an OnlyFans, and he did, and he showed his like bare ass and everything. He never dropped his dick, but like he would be. I've seen some of the pics. I've seen some of the pics. They were really suggestive. I can't even lie.
But he made good on his promise. I like that.
Yeah, the day Markiplier gets canceled is the day that I do not want to live on
this
planet.
happen.
I know it's never gonna happen, but it's the day that I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
He could kick a child and he'll still not get canceled. Like, it's just like, he'll just be like, I did it with love.
I want to say better people than him, but I don't think that's true. Whatever. Double D Pod on Twitter. The Double D Experience 21 on Instagram.
He was my subscriber. I wanted to show that I love him.
Available wherever you get your podcasts.
Like kicking him in the face.
Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, blah, 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 all that stuff. Subscribe to us on YouTube. YouTube.com/Nintoonist. Give a like on the video, comment on the video, subscribe to it if you guys enjoyed what you heard. Vote in the polls on Spotify if you want to. And check out our shorts. We're going to be posting shorts of every episode now. Hopefully I have the time to do that. But it's kind of necessary. In this day and age of fucking squirrel attention spans.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was thinking that on the plane ride back when you told me about the short. I was just like, wow, we are really at that age now, like where people's attention spans can't last longer than a fucking minute. No wonder y'all can't last long in bed either. Anyways, guys, we're gonna go say bye now. I'm
gonna Google Markiplier's OnlyFans.
But we're glad. We hope you enjoyed our little tirade about sex workers.
Definitely not what I expected this episode to be, but it's better we talk about that than certain other things. So, you know, fuck it. Whatever.
Oh, yeah, and also Metroid Prime remake. Let's go. All right, bye.
No Star Fox shit direct.
Motherfuckers.